Hello, I'm John Hagelin, National Director of the Transcendental Meditation Program. Welcome to this third annual National Gala to benefit our local TM centers and to give our teachers the ability to bring the amazing technique of transcendental meditation to people everywhere, especially those in need. Today, we're living in an information explosion. Eric Schmidt, the executive chairman of Google, recently commented that every 2 days we are generating more information and more data than had been generated since the beginning of civilization up to the year 2003. And nowhere is this explosion in knowledge more profound than in our understanding of the human brain, the field of neuroscience and human potential. There are 100 billion neurons in the brain with innumerable possible connections among those neurons. 70% of those connections between our neurons are changing every day, demonstrating the enormous plasticity of the human brain and the enormous capability of the brain to learn new things and to unfold new capabilities. Indeed, it is the underutilization of this incredible human resource, certainly our most crucial national resource, that is responsible today and has been responsible throughout history for the pervasive problems of society. Problems like crime and violence and drug dependency, even the wave of preventable illness today is caused by the less than full utilization of our human potential. 5 times as many students, for example, high school and college students, suffer from anxiety and mental illnesses today than during the Great Depression. 80% of our illness is preventable. 90% of our healthcare costs are preventable. Imagine the impact of reducing those problems on the quality of life and the very economics of society. Einstein said that no problem can be solved at the same level of consciousness with which those problems are created. So it is vitally important today to uplift human consciousness and really more thoroughly utilize the enormous potential of the human brain and to live more and more of what life is meant to be. And the Transcendental Meditation technique is at the forefront of this revolution in the development of the brain and human consciousness. Our institutions everywhere, governmental institutions, having to deal with the rash, for example, of post-traumatic stress among returning veterans from foreign wars, and our educational institutions and our cultural institutions are looking for new ways to develop the enormous untapped potential of the brain. And really at the forefront of this, in terms of research, in terms of beginning to apply throughout society and education, for example, for veterans, for homeless, is the Transcendental Meditation Program. It is, as I said, the most ancient technique for the development of the mind coming from time immemorial and the most modern. It is the most thoroughly researched technique with the most undeniably powerful and profound results, not only on health, but on mental health and human performance of any technique for development of life on Earth today.
It is very amazing that even though all of us, we have been thinking right from the beginning of our life, but rarely we have thought, where was the thought before we thought it? The origin of thought. Nobody bothers about the origin of thought. How the thought starts and how it develops to come to be appreciated as a thought on the conscious thinking level. A thought starts from the depth of consciousness as an air bubble from the bottom of a lake. As the air bubble starts, it's very fine, and as it comes up, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Coming up on the surface, it explodes, and there it is appreciated as a bubble. Like that, a thought starts from the deepest level of consciousness. Modern psychology calls it subconscious. And as it comes up, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Coming up on the conscious thinking level, it is appreciated as a thought. In transcendental meditation, we experience the thought on the ordinary thinking level. on the surface level of the mind, on the conscious thinking level, and appreciate its finer states till the conscious mind reaches the source of thought, and thereby the conscious mind expands. By the time the conscious mind has experienced the source of thought, full depth of the subconscious has been explored. Nothing remains subconscious. The whole subconscious is incorporated in the conscious, and this is called the expansion of the conscious mind. This is the way to use one's full mental potential. Modern psychology says man has been using only a small portion of the mind. Transcendental meditation is a way to enable every man, to educate every man to make use of his full mental potential. Imagine the development in all fields of civilization when every man will be using his full mental potential. The man will not gather stress and strain in his aspirations to accomplish more and more, and advancements will be glorious on all fields. That is a society we want to create.
And it's been an incredible joy for us to see that major sectors of society, including education, which is supposed to be about the unfoldment of our potential, in which we spend so many years of our lives, but where relatively the tiniest fraction of human potential is actually being unfolded today, most of it being left untapped. It takes a technique of transcending, which is the maximal expansion of human awareness, to engage the total brain and to develop the brain holistically. This is an enormous breakthrough in human potential, an enormous breakthrough in education. To see it being adapted today in hundreds of schools with literally millions of students in North America, South America, and throughout the world is extremely heartening. To see the government today, perhaps out of desperation for the lack of another solution, coming to the Transcendental Meditation program and investing in that program and research in the TM program to help our veterans who are suffering from the effects of their service to our country. It's really amazing to see this rolling out and proving to be a very powerful, obviously an extremely fundamental approach to the solution of problems, which is the much more complete utilization of the enormous potential we have within each of us. I'd like to actually play now a few examples of the incredible effects of the TM program in society today through the incorporation of this practice into many sectors of our society. Let's watch some of these amazing breakthroughs.
The idea of kids having a little time out from everything lets them erase all the things on their frontal lobe. The brain is much calmer. So naturally, you're able to absorb a lot more.
That 20 minutes or 15 minutes morning and night is enough to make the difference, where when you actually have a 40-minute class, there's quiet, there's focused concentration, and joyful learning.
When you live in tough neighborhoods and there's gunshots and things happening all around you, you feel like you don't have control over anything.
Students are calmer and more focused because we're actually addressing and unpacking that stress.
When you meditate, it keeps you calm, like takes out all your troubles. I pay more attention.
It makes me feel like I actually, the person inside of me actually came out and showed itself.
A little under a year later, I went back to the school and walked around, and you could start seeing the tone had changed. People weren't yelling at each other anymore. It was just the sense of having quiet in a school. I think most superintendents and educators that I talk with about the Quiet Time program are jealous. I show them the data, they just sit there and go, wow. The problem is that we let our own personal biases get in the way of what really works. And I always tell people, you know, I don't care what you think and you shouldn't care what I think. The fact is the data. The data is an opinion, it's fact. And when you start looking at the program from a fact point of view, it catches your attention.
I love teaching so much. And just increasingly over the years since I've been teaching, I feel that my students more and more and more are coming to school with so much stress.
Nobody's taught them, well, here, you need to take this time to relax, and here's how you can do it. So I think we've reached that point, that it does have to be taught.
When I came out of my first meditation, I knew right away that it was going to be something that I would carry with me for the rest of my life. I helped Molly in the process to bring this to CCS because I was just really passionate about other students feeling what I was feeling, because she's been adamant about doing this for just years and years.
This class addresses the epidemic of stress in this country by offering students the opportunity to be quiet. All of them have had that experience accidentally, but this class offers them a systematic tool to take themselves there twice a day, every day. And they come out and they're very happy to have been there.
For Norwich, we've always worried about the whole person. Because in battle and in leadership positions in the United States military, you have to be a whole person. And so we've always concentrated not only making you very smart and making you very strong, making you a great leader, an ethical leader. I think that TM will provide us another whole dimension of integrating all of that, improving my performance in all of those domains. And I haven't found anything else that can do that yet.
We've kind of picked up a bit of a reputation on campus as those weird people that meditate, and I kindly point out to them the fact that we don't fall asleep in class. We've got better PT scores, we do better on tests, we have better uniforms, we don't get yelled at as much as they do, and then they quiet down pretty quickly after that. I would say the biggest benefit is the energy. When in high school I would drink like a whole thermos full of coffee a day, and I don't have to do that anymore. It feels good to not have to rely on things like that and be able to do it myself.
I was a skeptic at first, but now that I've learned, it's great. I mean, I've directly seen the benefits. I'm a senior, and I've never gotten over a 3.0. This semester, I've had 22 credits, 4 lab sciences, and I have a 3.6. I don't think I just got that much smarter. I think the TM helps me focus, and so when I study, I get more benefits out of it.
I'm happy that Norwich is now following them and looking at their grades and their retention and all the objective outcome measures that an organization would care about. So just like the Army would look at, we're happy if you feel better, but we're really happy if you feel better and you don't get in trouble and you perform better and you are retained longer.
ROTC commissions 70% of all the officers of the United States. Could you imagine if, by this experiment at Norwich University, the birthplace of ROTC, if we provide a very important tool in these young officers' toolbox that they've never had the benefit of before, we can influence 70% of the officer corps in a very short period of time. And we owe it to them to give them the best tools. And I think this is one of these tools.
What piqued my interest in transcendental meditation was all the research that's been done and how incredibly effective it is for trauma, stress. The evidence now is that in combat stress, the trauma actually changes the brain so that this ability to self-regulate isn't there. Meditation helps with information processing, helps with self-regulation. Now here we have another tool that is fabulous and they can do for themselves.
I was interested in the TM program, but I was skeptical at the same time. The power of the TM meditation, it really came out fast, and it was surprising to me. Having that inner peace after meditation really emboldened me to deal with things that I had been just kind of stuffing away. So to be able to have relief from agitation, have relief from anger, frustration, sleeplessness, alcoholism, drug addiction, that's huge.
Meditation, and specifically transcendental meditation, I think has a role with wounded servicemen and women. Because whatever stuff is happening in your life, on this surface area of your life, you get under all that noise and all the storms and all the clouds, and you find that peaceful place that is the you within the you, and that's the thing you tap into.
Resilience, that's a word that the military is really interested in now. And that's some of the research I think that's being done is, could we prevent some of this from happening by giving them this resilient tool before they deploy, before they get into these traumatic situations?
And I think that meditation would help quiet the mind and help you to be more effective in combat and life and train from the inside out.
I probably do 3 or 4 people's work all by myself and deal with all of that stress. I think that the only reason I can do it is not because of my own capability. I think it's because of the strength and support which I get from doing the transcendental meditation programs and everything else which goes with it.
We would see the same volume of patients, but I'd be going crazy and he'd be calm and always in a really good mood and never tired. And it's like, how can he and I be doing the same work, but I'm like, dying at the end of the day? And so he would tell me about meditation, and he was going to make it available to the employees, whoever wanted to participate. I thought, yes, absolutely. I need something.
It's good to see how the people who have learned the TM are interacting. There's a deeper harmony, a much more easy ability to communicate and work with each other.
I'm so happy that everyone that had started the program, I think they're all following. And I've seen big difference in those employees. I've seen the morale change drastically among the people that have already been doing it. And I think we've all benefited from this TM program a lot.
My blood pressure has definitely gone down. I sleep better, much better when I meditate twice a day. It's a non-pharmaceutical way to deal with stress.
I brought the Transcendental Meditations into Harpo Studios to teach me and my team how to meditate. So we started meditating. 7 of us, 7 led to 70, led to 270, led to now everybody in the company meditates. 9 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the afternoon, no matter what's going on, we stop, we meditate. And that way of being still with ourselves, coming back to the center and recognizing that something is more important than you, it's more important than the work you're doing, it's more important, brings a kind of energy and an intensity of energy and intention that we've never had before. And you can't imagine what's happened in the company. People who used to have migraines don't. People are sleeping better. People have better relationships. People interact with other people better. It's been fantastic. So the one thing I want to continue to do is to center myself every day and make that a practice for myself, because I am 1,000% better when I do that.
Now, I've been practicing transcendental meditation, or TM, for nearly 3 years. About 6 months ago, I decided to offer the technique to everyone on my team at the Dr. Oz Show. I've seen the extensive research documenting its benefits, and I've also seen so many people who I admire and respect incorporate transcendental meditation into their own lives and share it with the people that they care for. Now, I work with a lot of very creative folks who are also type A and high-powered and pretty darn skeptical. So I had no idea what effect TM would have. But literally, the day after the first 20 people learned to meditate, I started getting some remarkable emails. And since then, I've been having some amazing conversations that have really surprised me. The first thing I noticed was the change in the tone and the texture of the dialogue, away from dwelling on the problems and much more thoughtful, insightful, clever ways of solving problems. Instead of highlighting the issues that were separating us, my team was deriving bliss and joy from finding solutions. Now, why did transcendental meditation have such a dramatic effect? The creative folks on our team can get pushed so hard from the pressures of their job that they find it difficult to create. Sound familiar to many of you? This is probably true for most everyone. Now, it's frustrating to know you can create and yet not be able to do so because of stress. Transcendental meditation allows you to relax deeply, to let down your guard so that you're free to see reality in a much clearer way. You're able to connect pieces of information that were otherwise not so obvious to you. This is what the calmness and deep serenity that you experience during transcendental meditation does.
I looked inside. I was hollow in the happiness department. And I said, I gotta get that. And so I started a transcendental meditation.
A year ago this month, I was suicidal. I felt so low that I wanted to just not be here.
I got pregnant at 13. My mom, she got deported 2 years ago. Sometimes I cry because it's just too much tension.
We were attacked at this place called Buddha. The first night, I killed 14 people.
The number of women and girls who are raped and tortured and killed in war-torn areas around the globe is literally beyond comprehension.
My in-laws turned against me. They tortured me, almost killed me.
I always thought I sort of had a low-grade depression here, but it really was. Ever since probably 10 years old, I've just really been miserable with being myself.
I was just so frustrated, full of misguided anger. I didn't know where to direct it to.
I lost 4 members of my family. Diabetes. I don't want that to happen to my people.
Sorrow, anxiety, traumatic stress, depression, hate, anger, rage, fear start to lift away. Life just gets better and better and better.
When it's calm and still, even what struggle becomes beauty.
I used to say, I'm gonna get my grades up, I'm gonna do better. But yeah, it was just what I said, it never happened until I started meditating.
I think every barrio, ghetto school in America has to have the fundamental right of having an opportunity to do this type of thing.
Stay regular in your meditation. Don't let anybody take it away, and you will unfold your full potential.
The kids love it. The kids in the West Bank love it. The kids in Brazil love it. I think this is what people need. They don't need high-minded talk so much as results.
Speaking as a scientist, the amazing thing about transcendental meditation is the very well-established research showing that the technique impacts things that we didn't think were changeable.
Since I started TM, my sugar's been where it should be. So I'm sold on TM.
The initial research on the effects of transcendental meditation in treating PTSD offers so much hope, better than many things being tried at far less a cost.
Transcendental meditation saved my life. Today, I can say I am a meditator.
I'm meditating 37 years.
I've been using it for almost 40 years.
It is the only time I have that stillness long enough that I open my eyes and I'm sad that it's 20 minutes later.
If you take out time and just meditate and just let everything go, free your mind, everything will come together.
Just this last month, I felt so much energy. It's been amazing.
All that feeling of heaviness, I could feel it melt away. It was absolutely transformational.
I've found that there is an ever-present sanctuary within me.
People tell me, you look very calm, you look very relaxed. And there's not a whole lot of craziness. I'm just sitting there calm, and it's surprising even to me.
I have a lot of problems in my life. And Tim came into my life and gave me like this open door to something that I never knew it would be.
Those days I used to cry too much, but now even the tears are holding. I'm great.
It comes back to the core of who you are as a person and what you're made of, and you have to give yourself a chance.
Real change for the good truly begins within.
Transcendental meditation can save lives and is going to save some more lives. And we just got to make sure everyone's aware.
We have just seen some amazing examples of how transcendental meditation is being used today to address the most challenging problems that confront society. And the success of this approach, compared to so many other things that have been tried, is due to the fundamental nature of the approach. It operates at the deepest level of life, the most intimate level of our own consciousness, developing consciousness and restoring balance to the brain. Your generosity last year enabled our teachers of transcendental meditation all across the country to bring this life-transforming technique to 4,000 individuals, including individuals in dire circumstances and in extreme financial constraints. I likewise invite you again this year to support our teachers of transcendental meditation generously so they can fulfill their lifelong mission of bringing this life-saving technique to as many people, especially those in need, in your neighborhood all across this country. I thank you very much for joining us this evening and look forward to hearing the incredible results that your support is going to be achieving in your cities and all across the country. Thank you very much and good evening.